Ich freue mich, jetzt unsere erste Sprecherin begrüßen zu dürfen. Marta Bouchard, sie ist Director bei Sustainability Solutions Lead bei Autodesk und beschäftigt sich dort mit der Frage, wie Nachhaltigkeit intelligent und wirkungsvoll in digitale Werkzeuge integriert werden kann. I'm delighted to introduce our first speaker, Marta. She's the Sustainability Solution Lead at Autodesk, where she focuses on the question of how sustainability can be integrated and effectively integrated into the digital tools. Welcome, Marta.
Morning. Thank
Good
you
morning,
so much.
Marta.
Good morning. I'll share my screen. I'm honored to be here. So, ich starte mit einem guten Morgen. Ich werde heute auf Englisch präsentieren. Meine Deutschkenntnis ist nicht so gut. So, vielen Dank für Ihr Verständnis. And with that, good morning. I'm really honored to be here today with this lineup of other industry experts and professionals. I'm here to talk about some insights and real-world examples of where Autodesk is developing technology to drive sustainability and hopefully inspire you in your business and everyday work. So I'm really excited to kick this off with my conversation today around sustainability solutions for business and impact. And I just want to say to Laura and the team, thank you so much, auxalia, for hosting me at this event. Okay, so as Laura kindly introduced, my name is Marta Bouchard. I'm the director of Autodesk Sustainability Solutions team. We're a strategic team that works alongside Autodesk business and product teams with the mission to incubate, scale, and deliver more sustainable solutions that can be used by every designer and maker around the world. I do have a background in the architecture, engineering, and construction industry myself for many years as a professional practitioner, and I came to Autodesk to drive this opportunity and scale this work through technology. So thank you again. Today in my agenda, I'm going to speak about a handful of things, but I'm going to start with the sort of global view on forces of change that are affecting our world, our communities, and our businesses. Then I'm going to talk about why sustainability matters as a business driver. I'll look at this through the lens of both the architecture, engineering, and construction industry, as well as the design and manufacturing industry. These things are coming together. There is convergence today, as Laura mentioned, with some of the changes happening in the EU and the regulations. I will highlight some of the sustainable outcomes that are shaping these industries, look at some of the solutions, the technologies that are available today, and then I'll wrap up looking ahead, looking forward to talk about the digital transformation that is happening right now, including things like AI that will transform our industries and businesses for tomorrow. So with that, the world is really changing fast. There are major environmental and societal shifts that continue to remind us that we're living in an era of very rapid change. The pace of that change continues to increase. So I'll just talk about a few of these here today. First of all, from a climate perspective, the Earth's average surface temperature last year was the warmest ever on record. So we know there is greenhouse gas emissions. In addition to climate change, we're seeing changes in the global workforce. That is not only demographic trends and skilled worker shortages, but really importantly, the implications of technology on the workforce is changing the way we do work. Things like generative AI, which I'll talk about later today, will complement some jobs and also displace others. And so we need to be thinking about the effect this has on the global workforce in the coming years. And lastly, when it comes to data and digital transformation, there is so much data that we are generating. We're creating an astounding amount, zettabytes of data that needs to be stored and saved somewhere. It's just incredible with the dawn of AI, how much that will continue to change. So we really are seeing a race to deliver more meaningful insights and value from that data, while also considering the environmental impact of how we save all that information. So clearly the world is different today than even just 5 years ago. There's already an unprecedented demand for work and more projects, and this is actually increasing because of the new sustainability requirements that are coming, somewhat driven by the regulations and the fact that We need to retrofit the built environment. There is resiliency challenges due to natural disasters, and that's often associated with climate change. We're going to have to rebuild what has been damaged. And then there are demographic shifts around where populations are growing or shrinking, and our customers are signaling some of those changes for where their projects and business drivers are. We talked a little bit already about how work is fundamentally changing. There's remote work, there's a push for industrialization, changes in the supply chain, and labor shortages. And lastly, just a reminder, digitization is changing quite rapidly. There's so much data and there's so many tools. I will say I'm really excited today. I'm going to talk about some of the new tools that are being developed just as fast as they are being demanded, especially around digital twins, generative AI, and lots of opportunities with sustainability. So because we are at a BIM webinar and webXperience today, I do want to acknowledge that BIM, as we know it, is going to have to evolve. So building information modeling is critical for the built environment sector. So many practitioners use BIM, and yet it is going to continue to evolve. And so I'm going to talk today about how this is part of the transformation. So when it comes to sustainability and impact, Autodesk serves the design and make world. So roughly that's a large amount, over 50% of the total global greenhouse gas emissions actually come from two major industries that we serve. 42% of greenhouse gas emissions come from designing, building, and operating the built environment, and another 20% of emissions are associated from product design and manufacturing. I wake up every day and realize that if we could change the technologies that design and make, we could reduce these impacts through our professional practice. So as I wrap up some of these large forces of change in the business drivers, and here we are in the middle of 2025, these are some of the things that are driving my strategy team's thinking at Autodesk. So Laura mentioned this already with reference to the EU regulations, things like the EPBD in Europe. There's a handful of others that are coming, digital product passports. I'm really excited for these convergence of industries, but they are coming from regulatory drivers. So we're seeing increasing regulations and requirements around climate risk. We're seeing a need for more data that can help us and you and our customers and our industries address digital transformation and to actually move the needle in sustainability. Generative AI has huge potential to address some of these complex sustainability problems, but it's also increasing energy demand and cloud compute and data storage. So we need to balance these two things. And so with all these changes, we're going to have to upskill our workforce. And lastly, and most importantly, we love to say that sustainability is finally growing up. It is competing against many other considerations in the private sector, but it also continues to be a vector for innovation and a huge amount of potential for new business opportunities. So why does sustainability matter as a business driver? Well, it affects business growth, customer loyalty, and trust. Some recent studies from IBM and Ernst & Young shed some interesting light on how executives and consumers are thinking about sustainability for business. 72% of executives indicate that sustainability was seen as a revenue enabler and not just a cost center, which means that when you see sustainability in how you work and what you can produce, you can create better margins and differentiate in your business. However, right now, 43% more resources is spent reporting on sustainability requirements, but not yet on innovation. This means there's so much white space to create new business opportunities. And then Ernst & Young, EY, they recently reported that 52% of consumers, they see sustainability as a major trust factor, and they prefer companies that are publicly sharing their long-term sustainability goals and commitments. So as you demonstrate your commitment to impact, we believe that customer trust will continue to grow and improve your business. And there's really good news for folks like you all that are attending this webinar today and those who are committed to driving environmental stewardship. The design and make industry is fundamentally solution seekers. We're here to solve complex problems. Autodesk issues every year a survey of all of our global customers. It's called the State of Design and Make Report. And I'm going to speak about that a couple times today with some really interesting facts from our most recent survey. 97% of respondents, almost everyone, said that their organizations have made changes to be more sustainable. 71% have increased their own investment in environmental sustainability, and another 79% of those companies are on track for reaching their sustainability goals. These are really positive numbers. They're signaling an intent to rise to the challenge, and hopefully you walk away today feeling that's something that you can do about it today. I'm going to start now to talk about the two industries that we serve with huge opportunity for impact. I'll start with the architecture, engineering, and construction space, and then I'll follow up with the design and manufacturing space. And as part of this, I'll showcase a few solutions available right now. So in the AEC and O space, architecture, engineering, construction, and operations, we do need to think about the whole life cycle. As I said, sustainability is at the top of corporate agendas, in the front of our customers' minds, and absolutely a theme consistently with legislation, regulations, and even government funding around the globe. In addition to sort of other pressures such as technology advancements, rising material costs, supply chain challenges, labor market changes, we do think there's an urgent need for businesses to be more agile, adaptable, and collaborative across the sector. So when we talk to some of our customers, there are 6 themes that we continue to hear that they need the help to drive more sustainable outcomes. So let me just talk about these a little bit. Number 1, there's mounting pressure from public and private sector to decarbonize. That is the word of the year. We need to decarbonize, and we also have to leverage the existing building stock. So carbon management is a top priority. When it comes to digitalization, there's a huge opportunity with the rise of digital twin technology, automation, and artificial intelligence. Third, climate change related risks and the vulnerabilities that are associated with increased storm events and impacts associated with climate change means we need more resilient infrastructure, water management solutions, and protective measures to support our communities. Then, of course, there is reporting and compliance. This is associated with the regulatory space, but we absolutely need to connect our digital tools with the ability to report and comply with those requirements. When it comes to waste, there is still plenty of opportunity to talk about waste mitigation. Some of the presenters today are going to talk about some great technologies that are out there to start connecting the dots between today's technologies and tomorrow's. And then when it comes to labor and workforce, this is a very complex space, and we recognize there are thin profit margins in the construction sector. And so while this continues to be a challenge, we're working to think about how can technology be positioned to solve these. So there are some outcomes we can work to address. So we're supporting our customers with their strategic business and sustainability goals to help them unlock the true value of Autodesk technologies so that you all can achieve even better outcomes. First of all, reducing embodied carbon emissions, addressing the gray energy, it's sometimes called, that's associated with material extraction, manufacturing, transportation, installation, and the entire life cycle, all the way until disposal and end of life. Let's not forget about the operational carbon emissions, the need to reduce energy during the life of a building or the life of a product, and think about the grid energy and the ways that we can reduce energy consumption through smart and efficient energy optimization. The need to meet certification requirements, the growing importance of ESG, environmental, social, and governance requirements, and credentials for different commitments. We need to look at all of these criteria across our businesses. Then, of course, healthy environments. Let's not forget that we often need to prioritize health and well-being of our communities, our children, and our spaces that we live and work and play. And there's great opportunity with circularity. Today we'll hear from Matt Astor, I think a great program around circularity and material tracking, so we can design buildings and structures and products and manufactured materials in a way that they have the longest life possible. To talk a little bit about the solutions today, I'll just share a snapshot view of technologies in market right now that Autodesk has to address total carbon management. So here's a view of our solutions across the life cycle. They're specific to professionals. So in the black, you see sort of life cycle of a building or renovation project: plan, design or renovate, build or operate. So conceptual design through end of life. For both building design and infrastructure, we could consider this. And central to this is how the Autodesk Design and Make platform can enable more sustainable outcomes. So what you see here are a mix of in-market offerings for decarbonization solutions, energy efficiency, as well as an ecosystem of partners. Third-party partners are crucial to provide added workflow and data-driven technology value to different project types. And through our platform, we can connect those different partners. I'll talk a little bit more about partners in a few moments, but these partner solutions can augment any out-of-the-box workflow from CAD or BIM or digital twin to then enhance your sustainability solutions. For example, when it comes to the future of our Design and Make platform, Autodesk Forma is the future of the industry cloud. So we are moving away from desktop solutions and into an industry cloud for AEC and O. It will unify workflows across teams. It'll allow data to flow fluidly between technologies and between stakeholders across the value chain. And critically, that will enable data-driven decisions for everyone to make more sustainable decision-making and drive those outcomes. We really believe that the Forma Industry Cloud will connect the right data to the right people at the right time, help ensure that what gets designed gets built. That will very much improve reporting and enable an outcome-based approach with AI to augment your digital workflows. And I'll just give one real example of an architecture firm who leveraged these exact tools I just talked about, Autodesk Forma and critically Autodesk Revit BIM solution, to renovate a 100-year-old building to be as sustainable as possible. And this project, designed by Lake Flato Architects, has won numerous environmental awards as an adaptive reuse project. But just to tell you exactly how they've achieved these incredible impacts is they used Autodesk Forma to analyze the environmental conditions. They did wind analysis, microclimate analysis. They assessed the city, the urban environment where this existing building lives, to improve the human experience of outdoor spaces. Then with Revit, and especially Revit Systems Analysis and Revit Insight, they optimized the building performance for the operations phase to ensure that it would have low energy systems. And lastly, with those third-party integrations, did a life cycle assessment to minimize carbon emissions associated with the material selections. And so this is a perfect example of an architectural project that used solutions across the life cycle, fully connected, to reduce carbon emissions for the entire life. So I want to talk briefly around the design and manufacturing industry. You have to remember that this is the space that makes the products and the materials that we use today. It is responsible for 20% of our global carbon emissions, and there's a huge opportunity for the manufacturing industry to enable downstream workflows to reduce carbon. So just to talk briefly around some of the themes that our customers are saying they need help with to drive more sustainable outcomes. Number one, operational energy, thinking about the generation of products and materials and commercial goods. The fact that there is a real challenge with circularity and actually creating a circular economy in the manufacturing space. It's hard to have a zero waste mindset and to reuse materials when the value chain of that production is disaggregated. Of course, material impact and issues associated with material use and waste, reporting and regulations and how to account for that across the value chain, traceability of carbon data. This is of increased importance, especially in the EU, around data tracing. The fact that you need to track materials and goods from the beginning of the life all the way until it's installed or delivered to a consumer. And of course, demand for green skills, the same point I've mentioned before, will continue to grow in the manufacturing space. So some of the outcomes that we're trying to drive here in the design and manufacturing world is adopting more sustainable materials, using less, using lighter weight materials, and just generally reducing carbon impacts across the board, connecting that data so that we can meet certification requirements, and fundamentally reducing energy and material consumption from extraction all the way to manufacturing and delivery to the consumer. So similar as I just shared on the AEC side of the house, this is a view of our carbon solutions for the design and manufacturing industry that could be used by design professionals today in product design lifecycle. So very similar, you'll see here across the lifecycle, there are carbon reduction solutions, energy efficiency solutions, and a handful of third parties connected through the Autodesk Design and Make platform that really strengthens the workflows that are needed to assess sustainability data, analysis, and insights. And similar to the industry cloud I mentioned for AEC, Autodesk Fusion is the industry cloud for the design and manufacturing space. It is the industry cloud for manufacturing that connects data, people, processes, and workflows across the development lifecycle. And it is the direction we're headed for all of our sustainability workflows. For example, I'm really excited to talk about this new piece of technology that's available today, Manufacturing Sustainability Insights. It's an add-on to Fusion. It's called MSI as a shorthand, and it's a first of its kind solution for Autodesk to assess and optimize material selections that reduce total carbon emissions. So it analyzes embodied carbon associated with materials, as well as operational carbon emissions associated with the manufacturing methods that are used to create this. So before it's even produced, you can optimize your final good. Now, I mentioned the critical importance of Autodesk partners. Auxalia is a partner. We work with many other third-party integrations to connect to our platform to both build upon and scale technologies. My team has a technology partner program that is an ecosystem of companies that can scale sustainability solutions. This is just a few of the logos of those partners that work with us that receive hands-on support from my team and others across Autodesk to bring additional technology value to our platform. Often these are accessible through the Autodesk App Store or add-on integrations within our core products. So as I wrap up with just a few more slides, I want to just reiterate, digitalization is accelerating. AI is here. I showcased a few solutions for decarbonization that are available today within the Autodesk portfolio, but I also want to address the digital transformation of tomorrow. Technological change can be a challenge, but it also creates a huge and hopefully inspiring opportunity. We've seen this before. We've gone through cycles of technology revolutions, and I'm really excited by what's happening right now with the transformation coming with AI. I mentioned our Design and Make report, and most recently in this survey, when we asked thousands of leaders from companies about how they're feeling about digital transformation, over 60% believe that digital transformation has absolutely improved their productivity. So this is how they can get work done, transform how customers and companies engage and interact, build trust, and create new revenue streams. So it starts with digitalization, followed by true data continuity. These are the foundational steps to reach greater automation and critical insights. So just imagine what you could accomplish if all your data was usable. And so if you could predict outcomes and solve problems before they happen, these are some of the opportunities we're seeing with the next generation of technology. And that's because data is going to be an absolute catalyst for those outcomes and for sustainability. When it comes to our decarbonization goals, the only way to measure and manage, and of course, reduce carbon emissions is going to be powered by having the right data that's accessible, connected, and useful. You have to be able to use this. So while we know there's growing demand for sustainability information, and there might still be some barriers in the clarity and consistency and reliability of that data, we are committed to connecting that data and making it much more available throughout our technology so that we can unlock new value One more set of facts regarding the survey we recently did, which is 66% of those leaders agree that AI will enhance their industry, and another 78% agree that in just a few years, AI is going to be essential. But what does that mean? What's coming next? When it comes to connecting up all that data and also accelerating what we can with AI, we see this transformation will continue. So I want to highlight just a couple of things we're doing here at Autodesk around AI. So there's digitalization, data continuity, and automation and insights. But all of these things start with a strong data foundation. You have to be able to train your AI on something that you know is trusted and valuable. So we are expanding our data capabilities to support all our customers at all levels of this evolution by establishing a foundation of accessible and granular data. This is critical because if we're going to move up towards trusted and powerful AI solutions, it has to be built on strong and trusted data, and it'll be the quality of that data that is training those smart AI solutions. And realizing this competitive advantage that's coming is going to begin with the hard work of curating and centralizing your data in a platform ecosystem. We need to unlock all those files and we need to get them all open and connected into a more granular ecosystem. The Autodesk Design and Make platform with the industry clouds, I talked about two of them today, Autodesk Forma and Autodesk Fusion. This is our vision of where this all comes together and how we are designing the future to connect your data into a granular and open, accessible, and extensible way of working. So we'll be developing continuously new cross-industry APIs and services to unify this data on this common platform, connect those workflows together with our third-party integrations, and connect projects and products across the life cycle. We really believe that this will solve today's biggest challenges and help accelerate your digital transformation with AI-powered insights and automation to deliver better outcomes and faster connected solutions. So just as a quick teaser, we have spent over a decade in this space, believe it or not, developing and researching how artificial intelligence can benefit and elevate our industries. We have trusted AI practices. This is very transparent on our website around security, privacy risks, making sure there's absolute transparency and adhering to any and all regulatory requirements. So I really invite you to check out, for example, the generative design solutions we have in Forma, in Autodesk Info Drainage, with machine learning tools, as well as Construction IQ. All of these are AI-powered solutions to augment your current workflows. And similarly, we have the same in the design and manufacturing industry. With this, I'm so proud of the work that Autodesk has done investing in this work. I want to close by just saying we are working to connect data and workflows and teams, ultimately partnering with our customers, you, to enable those sustainable outcomes. We believe that as technology partners, we can power this digital ecosystem. We are connecting those data, workflows, and teams. And our mission here, and especially what I do every day, is to connect design and make professionals to the tools they need to drive more sustainable outcomes. With that, just a reminder, Autodesk to make anything. I'll stop sharing my screen, Laura, and I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you very much, Marta. That was a very inspiring presentation. I'm looking forward to hear more from you, more about those topics in our roundtable later. So maybe we can, or we have more time to dive into certain aspects you talk about. Thank you very much.